Okay, so we are Aztec Construction, and this is the presentation video for the Glendale Avenue Reconstruction Project. Start with a general overview. As you can see here in the red, the project is located on Glendale Avenue, and it starts at Kitsky Lane on the west and goes all the way to South McCarran Boulevard on the east side. It's roughly three and a half miles long, and it is in the city of Reno, right next to Sparks in Nevada. So the main purpose of this project, as you can see, the existing conditions are pretty bad. There's a lot of cracking and potholing on this road, so the road is in dire need of reconstruction. But the main purpose of this job is to rehabilitate the existing road to ensure a better driving surface for all motor vehicle traffic. This job will also increase the safety of pedestrian traffic by raising and widening the existing sidewalks. So for the main job tasks and responsibilities on this project, the project manager was Evan McCall. Scheduling was Craig Dilatori. Also scheduling and estimating, estimators was Robert Galindo, Victor Urbina, and Richard Brill. For roadway X and modification, there was Robert Galindo. Traffic management control was Richard Brill. For the hydrology study was Evan McCall, and for the floor plan was Craig Dilatori. So the major items of work on this project are the full roadway reconstruction. There is curb, gutter, and sidewalk that is being installed. There's also some asphalt paving that will be going on. There are two major intersections, Galletti and Rock Boulevard, that will get a lot of Portland cement concrete paving on them. Various underground utilities, including some drainage. And there is also some bridge deck resurfacing that will happen.
So for the schedule, the original contract gave us 140 working days. Addendum 2 added an additional 40 working days to the schedule. Additionally, in the specs, December, January, and February will not be counted towards our 180 working days, which gives us an additional 77 usable working days if need be. Our schedule constraints include hot August nights and street vibrations in September. For both events, the road and the sidewalks all must remain open. Currently on our CPM schedule, we have 202 days. The reason for the more than 180 days is because it's leading into that December, January, and February time period. Also, we will be working out of sequence to allow for early opening of the western portion of the project, allowing for better flow of traffic. As you can see here, we have 9 different phases of construction. Again, since we will be working out of sequence, they will not necessarily go from 1 to 9. However, phase 1 will go first, and phase 9 will go last. As for the floor plan, as mentioned before, we have 2 locations that are receiving the PCC paving. Those 2 locations are Galletti Way and Rock Boulevard. Galletti Way is broken up into 3 stages with 8 different pours, and Rock Boulevard is broken up into 4 stages with 12 pours. We are utilizing both machine and hand pave. The reason we are using both of these is because with machine pave, you are able to pour faster and have higher production. So for our machine pours, we will be pouring between 9 and 26 foot wide passes. It is utilized in long open stretches. As mentioned before, it is faster, requires less formwork, and is a higher production than hand paving. As for hand paving, we use this in sections that are 9 foot and less, because we cannot fit a machine in there and it does not service any purpose to actually use the machine. Additionally, it is used in tight locations, tapering sections, and for areas of small quantities.
This job consisted of a large portion of roadway X and pulverization. The main phases this occurred was 4 through 7. The governing specs for this work was NDOT 305 and NDOT 203. The risks were simultaneous work and the large amount of the pulverization quantity. The advantage that we took over was time savings by conducting these 2 items at the same time. So this is just a typical section of the work that was done or will be completed. As you can see, the 15.75 inches of the roadbed will be pulverized. After this, which will be covered under the roadway X section, 7.75 inches will actually be removed and hauled off to be disposed of, while leaving the remaining pulverization there for later use. Now you can see here this will be entirely just roadway X. All this will be demolished. The total of 18 inches will be removed and disposed of at a different location. So the roadbed modification, this will occur with the pulverization we actually left on the roadbed. This will be a cement treated area, which will then be topped with a 7-inch plant mix. And then you'll top that off with a 3/4 inch plant mix. And this is just to give the roadway a nice, sleek, smooth finish. This is going to promote industrial high traffic road. So this is going to promote strength and longer life, great durability, and we will have a subcontractor perform the work for this section.
Right, so all of Glendale Avenue is getting all new resurfacing, which will require all new asphalt as well. Our typical new road section consists of 8 inches of roadbed modification, followed by 7 inches of plant mix surfacing, which will be paved in 3 different lifts as we compact up behind. Our driving surface will be a 3/8 open graded asphalt surface. This layer will give the road a nice smooth surface finish as well as provide a more durable product for the owner. The paving operation will be divided in 2 stages, in which we will work on the north side of Glendale and move traffic to the south side. Once completed, we can switch traffic to the north as we wrap up the south side. Because we will work on long stretches of road at a time, this will aid in our high production paving operation due to the large amount of access we have. Essentially, we will have belly dumps drop asphalt on the ground in long strands as a shuttle buggy attached to our paver picks it up, drops it in the paver, and gets placed. Now, this convenient convention of paving can get us up to 400 tons per hour, which will help us stay on schedule and get the surface ready.
For the constraints on this job, as Craig mentioned earlier, we have special events. One is Hot August Nights, which is 9 days long. One is Street Vibrations, which is 4 days long. Another constraint that we need to keep in mind is the migratory breeding season, which is in March 1st to July 31st. We also need to maintain access for all the heavy populated areas, as well as maintaining access for property owners along this roadway.
So as mentioned earlier, there is some existing drainage on the project. So the team decided to perform a hydrology study on the project. We assumed that all the mainline drainage was adequate for the capacities, so we only considered the laterals that were connecting to the inlet sizes. We determined that there are 8 different basins that have 8 different inlets on them. So this is the hydrology study breakdown as far as the queue going into each inlet and the capacity of each inlet. So this chart summarizes our recommendations. So for 3 of the inlets, the pipe sizes, or 4 of them, sorry, the pipe sizes are okay, but the inlet sizes will need to be upgraded. And then 4 of the lateral pipes will need to be upgraded to a 24-inch RCP, and those inlet sizes will also need to be upgraded.
For traffic management, we have 9 different phases of traffic control. As we stated before, we need to maintain access for local property owners on the street. We have proposed a time change for our work to allow minimal management and cut down on traffic for these existing roads that we will be paving. And as illustrated right here, we have an outline of the closure of lanes that we will be having. Some of the risks that are associated with this job is we have liquidated damages of $12,000 per working day. We also have a 77 days in December, January, and February that we can possibly pick up our work schedule. And if we're behind during this time, we can possibly finish ahead of schedule. But we also have weather constraints. So for the roadbed modification, it needs to be 35 degrees or warmer to lay our material. And we also have traffic delays no longer than 30 minutes, which during those special events we need to keep in mind to have traffic flowing. For some advantages that we have is that 77 workday. It's not counted in our schedule, so this can push us way ahead of schedule and possibly finish before our expected finish date. For resequence, we also have the finishing of works before the special events, and we also have the possibility of finishing the work in the higher traffic areas before we hit these events. And that concludes our presentation.